Another year in the books, and it was a wild one for sure. There was a ton of amazing records and artwork coming out this year from artists and bands new and old. And yeah, it was a crazy year for metal. So without any further ado, here are our top 25 heavy metal album covers of 2023. Let's go. Starting out strong with the latest from the most dynamic duo in death metal, Cannibal Corpse and Vince Locke. It's quite a scene, perfectly gory and violent, a staple of their work. And you really have to root for the crew taking down the zombies here. I'm looking forward to this movie, which Corpse should absolutely make. And Corpse Grinder should star in. The Tale of Blackbraid has a killer second chapter in Blackbraid 2, and the symbolically loaded cover illustration by Adrian Baxter sets the scene perfectly. The mystical themes of the record, mostly connected with nature, flow through the fine line inkwork of Baxter, and firmly establishes a consistent style in the Blackbraid covers. The indigenous American black metal scene is one of the most interesting underground movements going right now, and Blackbraid 2 is in heavy rotation for me as the snow begins to fall here in the north. The integration of the logo and title into the illustration makes the cover for Wretched Fate's Carnal Heresy a standout. The touch of red gives the image depth and a focal point in all the nastiest ways, a perfect combination with the brutal death metal summoned forth from within. Now, I almost didn't put this one on the list. It's oddly disturbing and just creeps me out so hard. Luckily, one of the gang here at The Art of Heavy Metal rightly pointed out that this is what makes it a perfectly executed cattle decapitation cover, right in line with their previous work, and exactly why it belongs on this list. Artist Wes Benscotter, longtime collaborator of the band and death metal art legend, depicts the dawn of a new age of humanity, where we molt our human flesh to reveal ourselves as the cockroaches we truly are inside. And there's no denying that this one stands out. It's bright and colorful and, like I said, oddly creepy. At number 21, the classic dark fantasy landscape is alive and well in the massive crystalline monuments of artist Juanjo Castellano's cover for Majesty's Vast Reaches Unclaimed. It's a pure and flawless record for fans of that classic 90s Gothenburg-style death metal, and the pristine, sharp guitar playing and explosive aggression are a perfect match for the dangerous world depicted on the cover. I'm a big fan of those early In Flames, Slaughter of the Soul kind of records. This debut for Majesties has me highly anticipating whatever's next from these guys. They're a really great band. Number 20 is one of those covers that, there's just no question about what you're going to get here with this record. Another instant classic release from Epitaph. The artwork for Drain's Living Proof by Sylvia Capoferri is as much fun to look at as a Drain show is to be at. The Punko-Rama, Frank Kozik kind of vibe with this cover, combined with the crossover hardcore thrash tunes that the band cranks out, is the perfect blend of old and new school, and it seems like the people are absolutely loving it. This is another really, really great record. Scottish folklore takes center stage for Hellripper's third full-length release, Warlocks Grim and Withered Hags. The title track and album is inspired by poet Robbie Burns' address to the devil himself, and for the first time features Highland bagpipes on a Hellripper record. A perfectly Scottish tribute to the land upon which mythical beasts and creatures roam in the Misty Mountains. Hellripper himself, James McBain, chose to work with Adam Burke for the cover, and the eerie moonlit green hues illuminating the scene is the perfect backdrop for the events and tales told on the album. Number 18, it's another UK death metal band. Celestial Sanctuary released this banger in August, and the extremely metal art by James Bousma is really heavy-duty stuff. The blistering riffs and dissonance of the record are a perfect soundtrack for the ritualistic cosmic nightmare on the cover. Liquid metal, motherfucker! Chained to the Bottom of the Ocean seemed to like a singular but strong visual approach to a run of releases. And Obsession Destruction is a new page turned for the band visually, with a classic Mariusz Lewandowski painting. The image of a giant tormented figure tearing itself apart is analogous to the music. They might be slowing down a bit in terms of their output, but this record checks the quality box, which is a perfectly fine approach if this is the result. Like the great adventure novels of old, and illustrations such as the Sebastian Yerke piece on the cover of Ahab's The Coral Tombs evokes a sense of dark mystery. The Kings of Nautic Doom and Yerke help keep things firmly in the established visual lane here, with strong Jules Verne energy and engaging depth that provides a background for the combination of marching doom and soaring melodies of the record. This cover makes you really feel like you're in on the adventure with these guys, so really perfect match for the concept records these guys write. So it's all fine and dandy to paint or illustrate the dark, wildly imaginative imagery that dominates heavy metal artwork, but it's another thing entirely to bring it to life for real. This is precisely what Missy, aka Fabrications, and photographer Black Rabbit have done for the Of Sulfur debut, The Burden of Faith. And, Missy's mask, prosthetic, and makeup work is wild. Check out our interview with her to have your mind absolutely blown. Her stuff is amazing. And shout out to our girl Lindsay Schoolcraft, who makes a guest appearance on this record. I think Of Sulphur have a pretty high ceiling, so it'll be interesting to see where they go next. Dan Goldsworthy was the power metal guy this year, and his cover for Haakon's Fauna is both an eye-catcher and a great fit for the band's complex and layered musical style. The colorful image is loaded with detail and features dozens of different fauna hiding in there, from the sophisticated primate main subject to the cockroach king. And I love the mosquito and the John Hammond cane. This cover just offers so much to take in. I also love the Gloryhammer record Dan did the cover for. I'm such a sucker for sci-fi pulp kind of stuff. This shit just rules. Dan Seagrave delivers yet another classic contribution to his death metal cover art legacy for Memoriam Rise to Power, picking right up where To the End left off, which he also did the cover for. The atmospheric depth and detail gives us a lot to look at while listening to the record, and it continues the visual themes now well established for this group of legends. Toronto's very own trio of cavernous death metal, Tomb Mold, are back after a bit of a hiatus, with probably their best record yet in Enduring Spirit. The bright and colorful psychedelic scene of the cover, painted by Jesse Jacoby, perfectly complements the more layered, wide-open space in some of the passages of the record. It's an incredible evolution for both the band and the artist, who also did the cover for Planetary Clairvoyance. It was a real treat to see these guys play a small venue in the summer. It was a packed house and they absolutely crushed. Number 11 is the double LP Anthronomicon and Helionomicon from Althar. Cosmic artwork by legendary illustrator Ian Miller is really something else, with his usual highly intricate detail. It's as visually dense as the music, and the nightmarish Lovecraftian landscape is an absolute trip. A perfect pairing with the psychedelic-infused blackened death metal contained within. You can really get lost in the full spread of these two records. It's such an awesome, awesome illustration. Coming in at number 10 is Deformity Adrift from Nightmare, a record which had the rare distinction of getting a remaster within the same year it was released. The painting on the cover by Jean Comatus is as twisted as the dissonant wall of sound death metal on the album. The passages of music flow in such a cerebral, brain-melting way. It's really a perfect selection of art for the cover. The color tonality of the surrealist image was maintained for the re-release, Deformity Adrift Reformed, with artwork by Paolo Girardi. And Oceans, as in Gardens, so in Tombs, is not the first triumphant return on this list, though probably the most epic given that it's been almost 20 years since the last release from these guys. The incredible artwork by Adrian Boson, the in-house graphic designer at Season of Mist, is a perfect match for the soaring and melodic atmosphere of the music. It's a beautiful piece of art, particularly the composition and complementary color mix. An interesting twist on the typical black metal album cover. I really love this one. At number 8, it's a real piece of modern art from Alex Ekman Lawn, who has a very unique and interesting style. The Sin of Human Frailty from End is probably the best overall packaging of the year, with its dyed layers creating a three-dimensional piece of art, which matches the consistent high quality of music from metalcore mastermind Will Putney. Such a great piece to have in your collection. I can't wait for my copy to arrive. Adam Burke, aka Nightjar Illustrations, is relentless in his contribution to metal art these days, and Enforcer's nostalgia is perfect in delivering that experience from the moment you pick the record up. The cosmic dream of a painting soars through the stars along with the music, with eye-popping touches of color and detail. Science fiction and fantasy are themes reflected in a ton of Adam's work, including other amazing 2023 releases like the batshit crazy Almost Human from Wormhole and sci-fi themed Beyond the Palest Star from the Sith Lords and German black metal band Vorga. Also, this Aramid cover for Wearer of Numerous Forms is a fantasy dream. Great stuff as usual from Adam. Unholy Deification is Incantation's latest offering to one of the greatest death metal catalogs of all time. Their previous work with master painter Eliron Cantor all led to the creation of this new god, a twisting coalescence of damned souls and dark matter. The numbered songs, offering an alternative track order, give the record an interesting depth, and the painting has a weight to it to match the music. Incantation and Cantor continue to reign supreme as true masters. Eliron had a ton of great covers this year once again. Entheos, Time Will Take Us All, the new one from Cataclysm, and of course these killer Cavalera Conspiracy releases for Morbid Visions and Bestial Devastation are all really great. I mean, the guy just keeps killing it. Coming in at number 5 is Bell Witch's Future's Shadow Part 1, The Clandestine Gate. Spanish painter Jordi Diaz-Alama is a master of his craft, but not typically known for heavy metal album artwork. Then again, neither was Mariusz Lewandowski when Mirror Reaper came out. Bell Witch just tends to be ahead of the art curve. Either way, this painting is an amazing piece of fine art, and if you just stare at it while listening to the record, time and space just kind of disappear. To be continued. I'm really looking forward to parts 2 and 3, and I have a feeling there's a lot more to this painting than we've seen so far. Obituary's Dying of Everything is one of the last few covers by the great Mariusz Lewandowski after his passing last year. His contribution to heavy metal artwork cannot be understated, and the full painting is as deep and atmospheric as any he ever created. The army of darkness marching forth from a blood-drenched keep wreathed in flames in his signature blend of blue, orange, and red hues is simply epic and befitting of a great record from a legendary band like Obituary. Eternal hails to one of the all-time greats. I'm really glad to see his family still continuing to license some of his great paintings to bands, because we all obviously love it. Foregone, the latest from Mellow Death pioneers In Flames, is a pretty great evolution for the band. Longtime In Flames collaborator Blake Armstrong has once again knocked it out of the park with this one. And as usual, it's the complete package with incredible singles, inner sleeve artwork, and all that sort of stuff. Might be Blake's best work for them, actually. I really like this one. The fully realized and sinister Jesterhead figure, intertwined with the themes of time and the souls marching headlong into an infernal machine, tells the tale of the record perfectly. Check out our interview with Blake. We talked a bunch about this record and working with In Flames. The overall MVP, that's most valuable painter, for us this year was the one and only Paolo Girardi. Lurk's Aegis is the favorite, but Cryptopsy, Esgamora Burns, and Verathon the Crimson Temple are equally impressive. The twisting serpent of monsters spiraling from a cave of evil over a zombie-filled graveyard is totally badass, like most of his paintings. It's insane how fucking metal Paolo's work always is. Dave Davidson from Revocation gave us a great interview about working with him, so check that one out if you haven't. Fuming Mouth has returned with a vengeance, and the grimy cover for Last Day of Sun takes the #1 spot. Not just because it's a great painting that feels like it's painted on the wall of some ancient mystical cave, but because of the story behind it. The cover art is an interpretation by artist Stefan Todorovich of the harrowing fight that Fuming Mouth founder, singing, and guitarist Mark Whelan went through with leukemia just weeks before recording was scheduled to take place. The shadowy beast towering over a Faustian city as darkness blots out the last rays of hope is the artist's literal representation of Mark's battle with cancer. It's a nasty record, and the struggle is prevalent and real in Mark's vocals. Opening track, Out of Time, makes the cover feel terrifyingly alive. Very glad that Mark won the war. Here's to more crushing riffs and more life. Well, there you have it. We could do an honorable mentions list a mile long. Picking 25 covers was really difficult. We loved Kalen Stokerman's Acacia Strain double release, Failure Will Follow, and Step Into the Light. Those were amazing. The grimy revolutionary style of artwork that Alex Goulet did for Unearth's The Wretched and the Ruinous is sick. This cover Brad Moore did for Spinebreaker is really awesome. I love the Bloodstar debut First Sighting from sci-fi master Ryan T. Hancock. His work is amazing. Can't wait to see more from both of those guys. That Suicide Silence record, Remember You Must Die, is crazy. That Doom-like kind of surrealist painting from David Van Gogh. Harm's Way in Zulu. The California hardcore scene is booming, which is fucking awesome to see. Anyways, the tour and record announcements are coming thick and fast for 2024, so save up those clams, your greenbacks. There's a lot of shows and records coming out. All right, I hope everyone has a great holiday, and we'll see you next year. Peace.